All right, welcome back, guys, to the Jake Ellenbogen channel. I'm your host, Jake Ellenbogen, and today we will be talking about Logan Bruss. And not only just talking about Logan Bruss, we're going to be going through, watching his film, and commenting on it. I'm going to take you right through. We're going to do a deep dive on his film. We got about 7 to 8 games cut up in this video. So for those of you who are waiting for a video like this, where you could actually watch tape and have the highlight on him, so it's easier to follow, and on top of it have the all 22 frame of mind there. Well, now you have it. So let's dive right in. Let's look at why I believe Logan Bruss is not only going to be an early starter, but I think he is a day one starter, and I think it's going to come at the right guard position for the LA Rams. So let's dive right into it. We're going to take a look here, and right off the bat, Logan Bruss is going to start at right tackle against Michigan. This second play here is against Aiden Hutchinson, who just went first overall in the draft, or second overall in the draft to the Lions. He just absolutely puts him on his back. I think what you see, throughout the tape with Logan Bruss is this is somebody that can hold his own in pass pro. I don't think he is as refined as some would like, but he definitely will work as a guard. He'll kick in right away. I do think, here's the thing with Bruss, is that there was a lot of this uncertainty about him being able to play tackle in the NFL. And while he might not have to do that, I think there's a very good chance that you're looking at a guy who's going to end up being the starting right guard for the LA Rams. However, he is a guard tackle. He played a lot of tackle in college. This is somebody that I don't think it can be stressed enough how much of a tackle he had to be on that Wisconsin offensive line. Obviously, you can see his ability in pass protection. He's not the best. He is not a finisher in pass pro. He's not going to stonewall guys necessarily. He will get pushed back. There is some give. But when you look at him, he is good enough in pass pro to succeed even on the right side. He is going to have some issues going up against speed rushers, and I would argue that the Rams starting right tackle right now, Rob Havenstein, already has some issues with that in general. So I think when you look at him, obviously he's going to play a lot of right tackle in these videos because he was a right tackle, and he did play a little bit at guard as well. But you can see, he's not going to get really overly dominated at the point of attack. Right there, this is a really good example because this first game is 2019, and it's Logan Bruss against guys like Aiden Hutchinson, first-round pick, guys like Josh Uche, I believe a second-round pick to the Patriots, and Kwity Paye, he was a first-round pick to the Colts. So these are guys that are very good competition for a guy like Bruss in this instance, and it kind of shows you, just what the Big Ten has to offer, and why I think the Rams feel comfortable going after those Big Ten guys. Because quite honestly, to make it pretty, simple, you look at it, the Big Ten is competitive. It's a different style of football compared to the SEC. There's a lot of running. And I think it's more physical as far as in the trenches. It's not to say that the SEC is not physical, but I think when you look at the Big Ten, the Rams have already shown they're interested in Big Ten guys. You have 3 coming from Wisconsin. You have 1 from Michigan State. They add another that we'll be talking about down the road in A.J. Arcuri. And then they get a guy out of Iowa in Alaric Jackson. So they clearly have an interest in those Big Ten offensive linemen, and you can understand why. I think really when you look at Bruss, though, this is somebody that does want to use his athleticism, and he did have over a 9 RAS score when you translate him to a guard. He wants to use his athleticism to get out there in movement. You see him right there, blocking that guy out, and I don't know who that is that he's blocking, but, really nice job creating a convoy for the pass catcher there. And if you're wondering who the running back is in this Wisconsin offense, it is none other than Jonathan Taylor. So if you're ever wondering what a first-round running back looks like, he may not have been drafted in the first round, but Jonathan Taylor is a first-round running back. Still can't believe he went in the second. Anyway, we move on. Bruss, I think what you see here, he's going to do a nice job, really holding his own. He didn't really give up that many sacks. I believe he only gave up 2 all the way back to 2019. But in this video, there is going to be some times where you find some issues. These are all the snaps that were taken that involved Logan Bruss at the guard position or tackle position. So you're going to have both. And I think what you see here with Bruss and why this coaching staff likes him, why the Rams evaluated him and decided, he was higher on their board than most people. I mean, the consensus was that he was a top 160 pick, not a top 105 pick. And so, the reason I think the Rams went out and got him is because he is very ready. He is plug and play. And when you're a team that just won the Super Bowl and you're trying to build some sort of a dynasty, you have to balance whether or not you can find a guy that can help you right away, but also find some values, find some, a guy that you can develop. And I think that's what you can do when it comes to Logan Bruss. I think this is somebody that can be developed. I think this is somebody that can have a significant role. And so I am very excited about him in the Rams offense. That I do think it's going to fit his style. But I do love, like you see there, that was a really nice recovery by him. Number 19, I believe that was Kwity Paye. I could be wrong there, but a really nice move there to get him out. And you'll continue to see that on tape. He's not a perfect prospect. He wouldn't have been drafted at the end of the third if he was. However, really no prospect is, and I think when you look at his tape, it speaks volumes. It speaks volumes in the fact that he's going up against top-notch competition in the Big Ten in this one game against, Michigan. I'm not going to say this is all we'll show you because we're going to show you a lot more. But I'm really impressed with his ability. Obviously, look at him there. He got a little tugged, but he stuck with them. There he is, blowing the guy off the ball. You'll see a lot of that. And I think this is somebody that really, he wants to blow guys off the ball. And I think, really what it comes down to is when you're running the ball with him, him blocking, I think he's best when he gets that best foot forward, when he's able to really attack. His pass sets are not bad. He is good enough, again, to survive in pass pro. You see there, that wasn't bad. But, 7-step dropbacks, very talented pass rushers that have more of a toolbox of arsenals, in their arsenal, more moves and stuff like that, he might struggle against. But I think when you're looking at him and these quick dropbacks, these bootlegs, things like that, college options, those are probably going to be enough for him to withstand. So that is the argument there, is he's more of a college tackle, maybe not an NFL tackle. But I didn't come away with that. I came away thinking this guy's going to be a Pro Bowl potential guard, and I think he could be a good tackle if you need him. If Havenstein doesn't work out and they end up, either he gets hurt or, they let him go after his contract, they don't bring him back again. Alaric Jackson is probably in the conversation. A.J. Arcuri, I would hope, is probably down the road, but I wouldn't rule out this guy either if they find a better fit for guard and they like him at tackle. They've experimented before, and the thing is, he could be cross-trained. He's already played those two positions. I think he's predominantly going to be on the right side, though. I think that's one thing I feel confident with. He's going to be on the right side, and I think when you go through and you watch the film, and obviously we're still in this Michigan 2019, which that was a really nice block by him to spring the running back for a bunch of yards there. You just see that he's way more comfortable, in the run game, and I think he's somebody, he wants to use his athleticism. There are times where he doesn't use it enough, I think, and there are times where he does get out ahead, and then doesn't really do a whole lot. Like, he's kind of in no man's land where, he looks like he's gotten out and has some momentum, and okay, now you can combo block, you can hit this guy here and hit this guy there. But there are times where he gets too far out, and it's almost like, a fish out in open water, right before a shark attacks you. It's just one of those things that can be damaging if you get out there and there's no one to block. So he does try his best, but I do see that as we now move on over to the Northwestern tape. And this was very intriguing because what you'll find is at some point during this this tape, they're going to put 99 on him. And 99 is none other than the pass rusher on the Rams right now, Ernest Brown, the fourth. He was drafted in the 5th round last year in the draft. And I saw Ernest Brown, surprisingly, give him the most issue out of anybody, I think. Maybe you could argue Chase Young at the end of his game, but there's Ernest Brown there, just getting right through He's going to do that. And they kind of move Ernest Brown a little bit around. He's a little bit of a rotational guy at this point in his career in 2019 against Northwestern. But, they move him inside. They move him out. He's all around the ball, really. I thought he had a nice game. That's, you might get called for a holding on that play. So that's something to keep in mind. And what I didn't mention earlier is his ability to pull, because this guy does have the athleticism. It's not just, straight line speed, down the gut and trying to be a convoy. I mean, this guy can be a pulling guard, and I think he is comfortable in that realm. He had some really nice blocks. There he is again. He beat him there, but you can definitely see Ernest Brown, the fourth, is kind of giving him he's giving him a run for his money. And I noticed that where I thought he did a better job handling Aiden Hutchinson and Kwity Paye and Josh Uche than he did with Ernest Brown. So that's the really interesting thing the takeaway I came away in this game. Maybe it's some hope for, Rams fans and the Rams that, this Ernest Brown kid is not somebody that we should just forget about. Because I think a lot of people have shrugged him off, including myself. Not really shrugged him off, but kind of forgotten about him because he didn't make the active roster. So, here we'll get a better angle here. And, that's not Ernest Brown, but that was a nice, push-pull maneuver there. Again, with Bruss, I mean, you're not a perfect prospect by any stretch, but I'm really confident in the fact he's going to have Carberry. That's a pretty good pass set there. Good kick slide, was able to stop him in his tracks. I'm confident when he gets in the room with Carberry, you're going to see, a very good player. There he is. He's getting blown off the ball. He's out of position. Those are some knocks on him. I think he's strong, but he's not the strongest offensive lineman that you've ever seen before. He will get pushed off, and I think there are times where, he got away with it in college, but the NFL is always looking to throw, flags on, phantom holds and things like that. I mean, you could call a hold on every play, as John Madden said. So, he is somebody, he will hold and get away with it in college. I don't think he'll get away with that in the NFL. So that is something to watch. But I think he's very, there he is, kind of fish out of water there. Got a little bit further ahead, wasn't able to really work. There he is kind of getting thrown off a little bit. There is pulling, but I didn't really like the play design of that, and they read it well. Not the greatest pass set, but hey, he got his hands on him. He's got some powerful hands. He's got some heavy hands. But he's got to punch more. I think there's not enough punch to his game. He's taking care of business. And again, we're watching his tape. He's on the right side at right tackle. He's not at guard. So things will be easier for him, I think, playing next to Havenstein, playing next to, Allen, and, play on the same line as No Boom and Edwards. But it is important, though, to, still evaluate him as such. I mean, I do think I saw enough good things on film where I think it justifies the pick at 104. It's one of those things where I just feel like we know the Rams picking him at 104, he's going to end up being worth that, in my opinion. I think he's going to end up, outdoing the draft, valuation from a lot of the draft nicks on Twitter and whatever. There he is getting absolutely, his lunch eaten there. But he doesn't, he has some balance issues, and I do find that to be a little bit concerning, but I don't think it's anything that can't be fixed. I do think that, it's not a huge... There's a really nice play by Ernest Brown. That's what I'm talking about. You see the bull rush maneuver. He is susceptible to getting beat, if a guy can really use his speed and convert it to power the way Ernest Brown does flawlessly in that last, play. But, again, I feel like when you're looking at this guy, I mean, he's got a chance to be really good, and I think he needs some seasoning. Here he is, nice pull there. They don't go that way, but not bad. He needs some seasoning, and I do think he is pretty interesting in his pass sets because I think he has a decent kick slide. It's just inconsistent. You'll see him, at times. I don't think he falls for things like that where you have the stunt that they'll run on the defense. Sometimes that can really throw off an offensive lineman. He stays pretty calm and cool and collected and makes the right read there because you don't want to block the wrong guy. It's going to leave a guy, susceptible, aka your quarterback, to getting destroyed in the pocket. So I think he does a good job in that. Once again, here he is getting to the second level, or trying to get to the second level. Doesn't really work out. Not really his fault. You know, a little bit of a hold there, but they're not going to call that. So, you know, I think, again, as you watch him, especially in the Northwestern game, you know, you could see he got a little stunned a bit, but, you know, Ernest Brown, I thought, had a hell of a game, and I don't think he didn't give up a sack, because he doesn't really give up sacks, which is a good thing, but you can definitely see how in the NFL you'll be able to exploit some of those issues that he had in that one. This is against Kent State, I believe, and, you know, to me, this was a clinic. This was really Logan Bruss going up against just inferior competition, and it's no knock against Kent State. It's just, I mean, look at that. He pushed him right off the ball like that, you know, a few yards. He'll have his misses and stuff, and like I said, he does have some balance concerns, but when you looked at him in the Kent State game, I just felt like this was really a clinic that he put on at the end of the day, and he is still playing right tackle, and you'll see as the game kind of changes, the video, the film, we're on game number 3, he will move in at guard. He'll kick in at guard. I think they see a lot of potential in him. Obviously, Wisconsin does at that point. It's really, it's interesting because he's somebody I think probably doesn't blow up guys enough. Like, I don't feel like he just dominates. I don't feel like he finishes. He's not the mauler that I was hoping for, but he takes care of business, and if he does get that head start, he can blow you right off the line of scrimmage. And, I mean, we saw the second clip of this was against Aiden Hutchinson, who he absolutely dogged. And I think that's something. It shows the potential he has to be that. So, I mean, and here's the thing. You know, just because we're seeing this and watching this tape in college, that doesn't mean this is what he'll be. I mean, he could be worse, but I think he's going to be better. I think he's going to be around the right guys. Whitworth really wanted him. He was in the draft room when they got him. He recommended Bruss to them, and they already really liked him. And, you know, the same scout that was really high on Cooper Kupp and, Jordan Fuller also really liked him. So there's a lot of glowing reports. Plus, you already have two guys that, you know, come from that school. You have the comfortability and familiarity with how they do things at Wisconsin. I mean, he played with David Edwards in college, so, you know, that's something to keep in mind. And they're both friends. So I think there's a lot of good things, a lot of pluses here, but I really just felt like he put on a clinic. I think he absolutely dominated Kent State. I just think it's constant play after play. I mean, these are like highlights at this point. And this is film. This is every play. So, you know, he might have a bad play here and there, but for the most part, this was a clinic. They dominated Kent State. I believe I cut this, this game short because they dominate Kent State so badly that they end up taking out Logan Bruss probably mid-fourth quarter. So, I mean, that's also worth mentioning. They had a couple of those games where they just did so well. Like, there he is just blowing the guy off the ball. And you'll see that. Now, this pass set here, I think pretty solid. You know, he gets his hands on him. I want to see, again, more punch. You know, he's got the longer arm that he'll do. Like, he'll long arm a guy. And I've seen him do it with one arm on film. But I want to see him really, you know, punch the guy. You know, he's got heavy hands when he uses them. You know, they're weapons. And I think this is probably the same that you could say about a lot of offensive linemen at the college level. They don't realize what they have in their arsenal. They don't realize how good they can be. It's not a knock on college coaches, but I don't think it's always... And, I mean, you know, again there, you probably would have liked him to block somebody, but it's cool that he was able to get all the way downfield like that. And I got to make a mention of it. Jonathan Taylor is just unreal. When I was watching this tape, it just really... It explained... You know, everything I thought in that process in the 2020 draft, I mean, he is 100% the real deal. It is not a shock that he ended up being a star in the NFL. It's just not. When you watch the tape, you can see, I mean, he's just so good. There he is, Bruss with his balance concerns there. It's just inconsistent. I mean, you're going to have some inconsistencies there. Kind of weird, you know, awkward footwork there by Bruss. Again, it's going to be, you know, but then you have snaps like that where you're like, all right, this guy's gone down the field like 5 yards. You know, he'll do that. But there he is, you know, he's just holding his own. And you'll see a lot of that in pass pro. He's trying to hold his own. He's not really trying to blow the guy off the ball. He's not trying to stonewall him. He's just trying to hang in there long enough for his quarterback to deliver a ball down the field. And, I mean, sometimes it's all you could really ask for. So, you know, I think this is one of the last games he plays at right tackle. And, like, he goes back and forth. Like, he'll play right tackle, he'll play guard, but they start moving him to guard a little bit more throughout the course of the 2019 season. So, you know, that's that. I don't have all of the film. I didn't want this video to be 2 hours, and it would have if I, you know, got every single bit of film, but I have a pretty good bit. A lot of it's 2019, which is, I think, fine by me because, yeah, you know, his play has changed a little bit, but for the most part, I think he's very similar to that player. That pull, you know, maybe not the best. Obviously, you know, he kind of let him get underneath him there, but you know, that's a good block. Like, again, he has a lot of those. There's another, I thought that's a really nice job in pass pro. You know, yeah, okay, he's moving you a little bit, but wasn't anywhere near the quarterback. There he is. Look at that. Say he lost his balance, but that block really sprung a nice run there. And there, you know, you're not going to get it every time, but, and that's the thing that's also really important, is that, you know, these positions, you know, in the trenches, as we move on to the Michigan State film here, and that was a little bit of a hold. He really bodies Kenny Willekes, by the way, in this. But going back to my point, is that you're never going to find an offensive lineman that's perfect on every down. You're never going to find a defensive lineman that's perfect, quarterback. They're all the same. So, you know, we can nitpick all of these plays all we want, but at the end of the day, what was the main result? And I think I came away really liking Bruss's film. You know, because I watched 3 games of every player that I scout before the draft, and I did have a 4th round grade on him, but being able to deep dive and have 8, 9 games that you watch, I did the same thing with Cam Akers and came away loving him after the draft. But there he is, you know, combo blocking there. Love when he's able to take on 2 guys. He knocks 3 guys out at one point in this. There's, you know, Willekes again, you know, nice move there using his hands there, but there is, you know, kind of blowing him off the ball. And, of course, Jonathan Taylor taking it way further than he probably should have. But, you know, I think you come away feeling pretty good about this guy. Come away feeling pretty good about, and even the ceiling. You know, you talk about the floor, this guy's plug and play, right? And I'm not saying he'll be dominant, you know, his first day. And I don't think this guy is ever going to be that type of, you know, he's not Quentin Nelson, for instance. Like, he's not a dominant guard, but he has a chance to be really good. And, I mean, that sometimes that's good enough. Like, there he is, combo blocking there. Love to see that. They get the first on that. There he is, kind of, you know, I believe that's Willekes. Not really able to do anything. Combo blocking, pushing the guy down the field. Love it. Wasn't even on his side. Doesn't matter. Not the best pass set there. He might have gotten a hands to the face, but still hung in there. Short area, yard situation. There he is. He goes down the field, gets that guy. Nice job once again. I think you'll see it a lot. I thought this Michigan State film was pretty good. Like, I thought he did a nice job against Willekes. I thought he did a nice job against a couple of those guys. So, yep, there's some more push from him. There's a nice, well, that pass set wasn't the nicest, but I came away really liking his tape. And I think as you go on, you can see there's some things he can get away with in the NFL, but there are things he needs to clean up. And I think they got a guy, 104, there's Willekes, 104 who just quite simply, he has work to do. But I think he's plug and play. I think he'll be solid, but if he wants to be elite, if he ever wants to be really, really good, I think he's got some work to do. And there he is blowing. I mean, he just destroyed. I think that was Raekwon Williams. That was monstrous. 93, I believe. So, you know, he's got some feistiness to him. I don't think I'd go as far as to say he has a mean streak. And I don't think I have. I know I've seen it, but I don't think in this video I have the clip of, you know, him ripping the guy off his quarterback. But I do want to give him props for that. There was a guy standing on his quarterback, and he came over and just tore him off and took a penalty for it. Probably, you know, the referee should have done a better job realizing what was happening. But see there, the initial push. You look like, okay, Logan, he's going to lose this, and then he doesn't. You know, impressive there. Good run there, by the way. But you see that a lot. Like, there he is trying to get... Nope, nothing. He holds his own. He's not a guy that gives up sacks. He'll get pushed. He's not a wall. He can be moved. But he does a good job of holding his own and keeping his quarterback clean. There, once again, taking 2 guys out there. Yeah, I don't know. I came away, and I'm curious what you guys think. Definitely drop in the comments, and be sure to subscribe, obviously, and like the video if you're enjoying it. But I'm definitely curious to get your thoughts on Logan Bruss and what you think, what you thought before this video, and what you're starting to think, after watching the film. Again, not a perfect prospect, not going to have, snap after stat being perfect, but I think this Michigan State tape was pretty good against good competition, and I think he shows consistencies in certain areas. I think he shows inconsistencies in other areas, and I think that's entirely normal. I mean, that's to be expected at that point. So, yeah, again, just a big fan of what I think he's going to do. That was a really nice job sealing off that block, allowing the running back to get through there. Then you move on to this one. He's blowing him off the ball. He's getting the second level. Not, kind of a little soft at the point of attack there, but, it's not the end of the world. That, not really sure what was happening there, but you probably could have called him for a little bit of a hold on that. He's got to be careful. Again, the balance concerns, I see it. You want to see him. You want to know that he can use that athleticism he tested with to get to that second level with ease. That's a really nice job, taking on the stunt and then being able to slide out in protection like that. He's still at right tackle, keep in mind. So he is not kicked in at right guard yet. We'll see that soon. That was a really nice play, but we'll see that soon. I mean, if you notice, really, you're not seeing many guys get through on his side, on the right side. I think he's doing a nice job on the right side. And it kind of, brings me to my point that, yeah, this guy can be maximized at guard, but they're, running down. I love that block. To run down like that, he fell down, but, I mean, he's amped. He just sprung a touchdown. That was a huge block. Might have even highlighted the tight end there. But, I was a big fan of that last play. I think that was pretty awesome. I'll give him props on that for sure. Yeah, and this kind of confusing what was happening there. But yeah, just kind of going back to what I've been saying, maximizing him. Yeah, you want him at guard, but if you're in a pinch, it's kind of similar to how Edwards played tackle. Like, you could play this guy at tackle and be okay. I don't know if you'd want him to be there over guard. I can pretty much say you wouldn't. And for those of you who don't know how I normally evaluate, I mean, I'm normally the guy, as we move on to the Ohio State tape, I'm normally the guy that doesn't want to move true tackles to guard, but he's really a guard. He's a little taller than what the Rams look for at 6'5" at guard, but he's really a guard when you look at it. And by the way, number 2, who you'll see, and also Tyrique Smith, who's in this, there's number 2 right there. Keep an eye on that, because that is Chase Young, who is an absolute monster pass rusher in the NFL. He's already proven himself in the NFL. He's going to go up against, Bruss. And Logan Bruss, I think, throughout this game did a really nice job against him. Really held him under, I think he held him under wraps for the most part. But they move Young around. They weren't cool with this, like, okay, Young can't get through on the right side, let's just keep him there. Like, they move him around. They have him, as you saw, blitz up the middle, things like that, as you'll see. And then, you can see Logan Bruss running down the field. I mean, again, the athleticism there. But as the game went on, you could see Chase Young was chomping at the bit, and he was able to get a really important play, a really important forced fumble at the end of this game. And that was the sack that Logan Bruss gave up. So when you give one up to Chase Young, I think it's understandable. But for the most part, I do want to stress that I thought he had him under wraps for the majority of the game. And, Chase Young, incredible athlete. He's always going to look like, he's playing well and he's explosive, got a great first step. But I was really impressed with what, Logan Bruss was able to do. Because, I mean, just Chase Young's a freak. Also interesting, I believe number 11 is Tyrique Smith, who just came out of this past draft, so that's another thing there. I think he was drafted a little bit after Bruss, probably a round or so later. I don't remember for sure, but there's also there's another guy. I couldn't tell who 33 was, but I thought 33 had a good game against Bruss. I think Bruss kind of was given a little bit of a push by 33, and I mean, I kept looking up 33, and I saw it was what's his name? I can't remember the guy's name, but anyway, it was the running back, Master Teague or whatever. I don't know, you know, I don't think he was playing linebacker, but that's what they said 33 was. There, he's pulling there, nice to seal off that edge. The guy still tackled him, but there wasn't anything there, so still at right tackle, though. There he is sealing off the edge again. They run the other side, a little confusing, but tried to mix it up, I guess. Then here, tried to combo block that guy. Not bad, not a bad rep. And, you know, again, it's just going to be one of those things with Bruss, is that you're going to take the good with the bad. I mean, here, I don't think that was a great pass set. I know they threw a touchdown pass, but, you know, in the NFL, he might get run over, you know, in that circumstance. So there's things that he is consistent in, and then there's inconsistencies. And I think the inconsistencies are definitely the pass set, the balance, because he does have some balance issues that are quite evident. Little over-aggressive as far as getting the second level. Sometimes doesn't know what to do, you know. And I think he just needs to have more consistent hand usage. You got weapons, man. You got stonewall weapons. There is a good pull that seals off that block. Really nice job there by Bruss. But, you know, I think when you have the heavy hands that you have as an offensive lineman, you got to be able to use them, because those are your weapons. Those are your mitts. That's how you're going to be able to really, you know, stymie guys at the point of attack like that. You want to be able to see them do stuff with those hands, those heavy hands that hit like, you know, I mean, it hit like a brick. You know, that's the thing. I want to see him use those more as weapons. Not see like there he's kind of, you know, and that wasn't his fault, but there's Chase Young. He tried a little bit of a counter swipe there, and then Chase Young again. Not really much there. Pretty stymied for the most part. There's Tyrique Smith. Takes him out. See, I think, like, more often than not, though, you're going to see Logan Bruss. He's got some pretty good reps in pass pro. After then that one, this is the end of the game here. And I honestly think after that, they moved him in at guard. I don't know how the background is on that, but he's going to be moved in at guard, I believe, in the next game. So that was the big Chase Young moment where he gets the strip sack. But yeah, after this, you're going to start to see he'll be moved in at right guard. So I don't know. Again, I don't know. I don't know if the coach just decided, you know, that's it. He's a guard or what. But that was like a key strip sack that really was all she wrote. So we move on here to the Illinois game, which I wasn't overly impressed with Bruss in. You know, he moved in at right guard in this one. I thought he was solid. There are times where he does have some issues, and you'll see it. You know, obviously he goes for the chop there, the chop block. But there he is at right guard now. So, I mean, he has some good moments, but there are times where I felt like he would just explode, and I didn't really see the pop. So I'm going to contribute this to, it's still 2019. You know, that's a pretty good play. But for the most part, I want to see this guy really explode off the film, and I just don't feel like this is the game that he does that. I think he has some really good reps, but I guess maybe I was just being a little bit ridiculous, like thinking, oh, well, he moved over to guard now, so he's going to be dominant, you know? So maybe it's more so on me. But, like, there, he got kind of eaten up. That's one of those plays. You're not going to be perfect on every play. Lose his balance there. Obviously, I don't think he did a horrible job. Not a bad job there. Obviously, touchdown. You know, this is a play. Obviously, at your 1 yard line, you do a nice job getting there. Again, falling down. He does fall down a lot, blowing that guy off the ball. So that's pretty good. So I mean, like, you know, there's some inconsistencies though. Like against Illinois, I thought like, he didn't do a bad job. I'm not saying he did bad, but this was not like when he was at tackle, which now, it's funny, he actually moves over to tackle. I was thinking, I guess, maybe just that he was going to really explode off the tape at guard. And I came away thinking he's definitely a better projected guard. But I don't know if at this point, he hadn't played guard really much at all in college. He was really a tackle. So I wonder if it's just really like learning the position. I think it was, but that was also a really nice job combo blocking there. And it's always fun to watch the 2019. If you want to watch just, again, first round, top-notch running back talent, there's a beautiful pass protection blitz pick up there. You know, if you want to watch, like, real, you know, running back, if you're ever questioning your evaluation on a running back, and you're like, am I too high on him? Look at Jonathan Taylor. If he's anything like Jonathan Taylor, you're probably not too high on him. But if he's nothing like him, you probably are. Because, I mean, this tape is just, it's a highlight reel with him. You know, he's always doing some crazy stuff. And, you know, I got to keep giving him props because I just couldn't stop. And that was my evaluation. There he is. And pulling there. Nice little pop on our friend there, Jake Hansen. We interviewed him on Downtown Rams. So now Bruss is back at tackle. And I don't know the circumstance. I'm watching all 22, so I don't have the, you know, I'm not privy to the announcers or what's happening. But they moved him back to right tackle. So I don't know if there was an injury or what, but they did move him back to right tackle in this game. And I do think when he goes to right tackle, like, that's a little bit of a hold there, but I don't think it was a bad one. You start to see him kind of, you know, get into his own throughout the game. And again, I think it's because he had been primarily a tackle. That was a really nice job, by the way. Using his length to combo block. Didn't matter because the other guy didn't do his job on his offensive line. There he is, pretty much holding on to that guy there in the interior. I don't know. I tend to like him at this point. I think he gets better over time at guard, but I tend to like him in this game more at tackle. Now he's back at guard. So, again, I don't know what the issue was. You know, it's one of those things where you don't have all that information when you're watching all 22, but that is that's a sack. Like, he gave that up. That's a pretty big sack there, interior. He's holding him by kind of the throat and the neck area, so that's going to be called in the NFL in all likelihood. Maybe not. That's a good block where you're taking the interior guy completely out of the play. And then here, you know, you're blocking him off. They didn't really go that far, but I don't think that was a bad rep. There, you could kind of see because he doesn't neutralize guys at the point of attack, and he's not really using the heavy hands, he's just kind of hanging in there. See, if you stymie a guy at the point of attack and he is stunned, it becomes really hard for that guy to disengage your block. Because you have now knocked the wind out of him. You have now put him in a little bit of a distressful, you know, you put him in distress. You put him in a bad spot. But see, the problem is with Bruss is that he doesn't do that enough. So what you'll find are guys are able to actually disengage his blocks because he's just pushing them back. There's not punch, you know, there's not like, you know, force. Like, this is kind of ugly, you know, footwork there. You know, just backpedaling like a corner. That's pretty much not what you want to see. So you can definitely see, I mean, he's, again, not a work in progress. I think he plays right away. But I am going to be somewhat critical of him because I want to show you what he brings to the table and, you know, what he needs to work on. And, like, this is one of those things where, like, you get to that level and you're like, all right, like, you know, the play didn't go there, but would he have made that block? Who knows? See, that was just, you know, guys trying to karate chop him, and he's just holding his own. There he is getting to the second level, or trying to. Again, just not really much of an impact player on that. There's our friend Owen Carney. Interviewed him on Downtown Rams, number 99. And you could just see, though, I guess what I'm talking about. That was not a bad pass set. It's a quick drop back. You know, obviously those pass sets are going to be different. He gets a little bit beat there for sure. It's going to be different in, say, like a 7-step drop back. There he is, you know, kind of tumbling. So, you know, I definitely think that the training staff is going to work on his balance issues. because they are there. You know, I saw people saying that he doesn't have balance issues. He does. I think offensive linemen, that is common to come out of college with some balance issues, get pushed around a little bit, push other people around, fall down after you make... Like, you want to see him stay on his feet. And it's not just about the play. I still think he did a solid job there hanging in pass pro. It's not just about the play. Oh, by the way, he's back at tackle if you didn't notice. I think also it's a safety thing. Because you never want your offensive lineman to just fall down like that and be in a position to maybe get his leg caught or something. So, I mean, for the most part, you want your offensive lineman to stay up and be able to not get hurt, so to speak. Obviously, that position... See, like, I did not like the position he fell in. I understand that's how it's going to be in the trenches. You know, it's probably better to just cut block at that point, but... There he is against our friend Owen Carney. There's Jake Hansen making the tackle. Shout out to both of them. But yeah, I mean, that's another nice rep by Logan Bruss there. There's Jonathan Taylor just putting on the nitrous. I thought that was a good block on Owen Carney. Maybe a little bit of a hold, but, you know, opened up a little bit of a crease for the running back. I'm curious, though, as you're watching... Put in tackle or guard where you would prefer him based on what you've seen so far. That was a really nice job, by the way. That counter may have been a little bit of a hold, but that inside move kind of caught him off guard, and he was still somewhat able to hang on. I thought that was impressive by Bruss to hang in there. Good mirroring there by Bruss. I don't think that's talked about enough. I think he mirrors pretty well. I think another good pass protection rep. All right, now we move on to the Indiana game, which I think is another one of those games that I thought he played pretty well in. Obviously, Indiana doesn't have the talent of an Ohio State or a Michigan or even Michigan State for that matter. Maybe even Illinois, but I would probably say Illinois. It's around that. But I do think that they have some talent that he was facing. They're not any guys I know off the top of my head. I'm sure there are probably some that I could look back and watch, but, you know. I thought this was a good game, and he went back in at right guard, if you've noticed. Like, he kicked in at guard. I think this is a game where he finally plays the full game at right guard. This is probably his best performance at that point. Another good pull. You can see that, obviously, that ability, that versatility. I love that little shove there. See, I want to see more of that. Be more, like, have more of a mean streak. There he is, point of attack, and he just hangs on. He's able to, take that on. I think he did a nice job. Even hands to the face, you could argue. Potential miscall there. So you could definitely see at this point, if you had said tackle in the comment section over guard, this is the game where you start to see why the Rams got him to be a guard. Because I think this is, like, there he is pulling, some will say he didn't do a good job because he got destroyed. I would disagree because, the guy, look at that. A little bit of a crease is all you need to get those yards. There's a combo block there. The play was stopped, but I still wanted to show that because that was impressive. He really just held his own, and I think this is, one of the better tapes here. Now he gets out, and, I'd like to see him do more. But I understand it's like no man's land. It's hard to operate. There he almost falls down, maybe getting a little bit better with his balance. There's a combo block, creating that crease for the running back. Love to see it. Now, this play... again, pretty solid. And you're going to find that. I mean, I think this was probably one of his best games against Indiana for sure. This is still 2019. I think they all were up to this point. Really didn't have any 2021 tape to watch. I think I have one game at the end, but another, a nice job. I do think his deficiencies in pass pro are heavily overrated. Like, I was saying, I'm nitpicking because I want you guys to know everything, all my take on him. And, as we watch this together. But I think saying that he is not a good pass protector, that I cannot subscribe to because, and I thought that was a nice job, sealing that. Not like it really mattered, but, there he is pulling. There's the push. There you go. Nice job by Bruss. There, obviously the run didn't go super far, but another one. See, they felt comfortable pulling him. I think the Rams are going to pull him quite a bit. That was not a good pass protection rep, but, I don't think he has too many of those, For the most part, I think he's impressive when there's a lot of, when there's traffic. I don't think he gets so overwhelmed where he can't handle, the traffic. I don't get that vibe from him, I don't get the vibe where, this guy against stunts, he's just going to struggle for the most part. So, I think, again, we've been talking about it for, almost an hour now. Logan Bruss is going to contribute to this team this year. You may not think he's a starter. I tend to believe he's going to start day one at right guard. I think he's ready. But even if you don't think he's a starter, I think whoever takes on that role, whether it is an Ankrum, friend of the show, whether it is, Coleman Shelton, I think he eventually is going to take over during the season. He's obviously the guard of the future for them at right guard, but, I definitely think I saw enough on tape to say he's a third rounder, to justify why the Rams picked him there. And, I love that. See, I want to see more of that, but, he shows you the potential. If he gets that mean streak going, he could be lethal. He can be a mauler. I think he's got the tools. I just think, he's got to show him more. I want to see him be more of a finisher. But going back to my point, I think, really, third round grade makes a lot of sense. Getting him late third might have actually been a little bit of a steal, just based on how comfortable they were with him. And I think that definitely resonates with, how they felt and why the scout jumped in the pool like he said he would if he was available. They just didn't think he'd make it. They even considered trading up to get him. So, clearly this is a guy that they really covet, and, it makes a lot of sense. I think, obviously, the familiarity factor, going back to that, but you watch the tape and you're like, all right, this guy can play. There's a reason why they like him. And so, I'm excited about the presence of Logan Bruss. I'm excited, for a team that was 24th in the league in rushing, that hopefully, this guy that I think is more of a run blocker, I think can help the running game a lot. I don't know how much he's going to help the pass protection game, because it's not necessarily against him. It's more so you're replacing Austin Corbett. But could he end up being as good as Corbett someday? Absolutely. I think you're looking at a Pro Bowl guard in him, and a guy that has versatility. I thought he did a really nice job hanging in there. But a guy that has versatility to play tackle and guard. So I think that's, that's what you like to see when the Rams are spending that type of, pick on a guy like that. You want to know you're getting a starter. There he is, sticking his face right in there. Yeah, again, this is not the perfect prospect. This is not Quentin Nelson. This is not Zach Martin. But with development, with coaching, there's no reason why he couldn't end up being a star guard. There's just not. I mean, I think he's got all the tools. I think he's capable. I think he's played against top competition where I don't think he goes to the NFL and, hits a wall. I don't think he's going to be, shell-shocked or stunned. I think he can not only withstand the pressure of starting day one, but I think he can be really, really good, even his rookie year. That's a nice combo block there. So, yeah, I mean, I think when you watch this is finally the game where I myself looked at this and I was like, against Indiana, I'm like, he's a guard. He's a guard that has tackle value and upside potential. Is he an NFL tackle? I think so. But is he a potential Pro Bowl guard? I think so. And so this is the game I needed to see, because up until this point, I was like, are we sure he's that much of a guard? Like, I know we're projecting him there, but like, are we sure? And he played a little guard in that game, after the Ohio State game. And I just came away thinking, he could be good, but I don't know. Like, I think I'm more comfortable playing him at right tackle. And now I really do see it. I think he, at right guard, I think he makes a lot of sense. And he's exciting because he's got so much room to grow. So while he is, I think, NFL ready, it's the little nuances of his game as now we go to Michigan 2020. I think it's really exciting about how good he can be. And he's still at right guard here. And I think this is, an interesting game where you're not going against the top, competition on the outside. I mean, you're going against good competition against Michigan any day, but you're not going up against, Aiden Hutchinson down after down and Kwity Paye and, obviously not Uche, who's already in the NFL at this point. So I thought this is the last piece of film that I watched, the last game. A little bit of a tug there on Cameron McGrone's jersey, but this is when it was pretty solidified to me that he is, in fact, a guard. He deserves to be picked in the 3rd round. You could argue late 2nd, too, because I think what is kind of lost on people, as you see that really nice combo block there, what's kind of lost on people is that, when you say plug and play, instantly people are like, oh, so he's got no ceiling. But I think the fun thing about Bruss, and what I came away thinking after finishing 8 or 9 games or how many I just put together, this guy has a ceiling. Like, he's got a decent ceiling. He's got a lot of things where you have a Kevin Carberry in that offensive line room. He's got a lot to work with, a lot of tools in that arsenal. He's got the mean streak. He just got to unleash it. He can be a run mauler because we saw him, the second play of this entire video, we saw him against Aiden Hutchinson, bodying him, burying him into the turf. So we know he can do that. We know he can explode off the ball. We know the testing. We know it's all there. But now you couple that with being in an offensive line room with talent, being in an offensive line room with a coach that, is, a cross trainer, but also somebody that legitimately develops guys. Just go back and look at Stanford, with Walker Little and Drew Dahlman and what he's done, Alaric Jackson. I mean, no one thought Alaric Jackson was going to even, make the 53. They probably thought practice squad. He makes the 53. Not only makes 53, but then he is able to start at left tackle when they need him to. So there's a lot to like about Bruss. Again, day 1 starter at right guard, in my opinion, but a guy that has decent upside where you could have argued picking him in the 2nd round, and I don't think it would have been much of a reach because I think he's got so many traits there where if they can tap into that potential, he's going to be really good for a long time. So, I mean, if I had to put any sort of guesstimate on him, I'm seeing a 10-year guy in the NFL, 10-year starter. I don't know if it'll all be with the Rams because, we'll see. But I can't imagine if he ends up being as good as I think he'll be and the Rams think he'll be, that he doesn't get brought back. This is not, they brought back Brian Allen. They brought back Noteboom. This is not Bobby Evans to me. When they got Bobby Evans in the 3rd round, he was a tackle that a lot of people saw as a guard. He's a lot better than Evans. I didn't really like Evans coming out of Oklahoma, and I don't think that's really changed. I root for him because, obviously he's on the team that I cover and the team that I like. But, I want him to do well. But I think instead of wanting a guy to do well that you don't believe in, I'm going to do you one better and say that, I think he's going to do well and I do believe in, and that is Logan Bruss. So, as we come to a close in this video, my final thoughts, and I'm really curious, again, please drop all your comments below, hit the like button, subscribe, let me know what your ultimate thoughts were on Logan Bruss. Did you come away with this video thinking you learned anything, that he's good, that he's bad, that you like him at tackle, you like him at guard, you want to try him at center? Whatever your crazy ideas are, they're not too crazy to drop them below. So definitely let me know what your thoughts are on that. I'm excited to read the comments, interact with you guys. This is, video 1 of 8. So we are breaking down Logan Bruss in this one, or we did in this one, as this game is going to wrap up soon. So we broke down Logan Bruss, but we're going to go on to Jakobi Durant next week. And then the week after that, we're going to go on to Kyren Williams, who I cannot wait to talk about. I'm really excited for Jakobi Durant, to be honest with you, because I already watched the tape. I'm very high on him. And you guys know I love Kyren. And then the next one will be, obviously Quentin Lake, then Darion Kendrick, then, Daniel Hardy, which you can also find the interview, Downtown Rams interview on my channel, and Russ East, and then we'll wrap it up with AJ Arcuri, and maybe if this, this series does well enough, I might throw in a UDFA or two. Maybe a Jake Hummel, maybe a Jack Snyder, all 22. But you guys let me know. And if you do enjoy this, you want more content like this, please be sure to support the channel. I do not get paid for these because, unfortunately, while this is basically my full-time job, I don't make money off of these all 22. At least I don't think I will. These always get copyright claimed, so I'm expecting to not make any money off this, and I spent about a week making this for you. So if you do want to support, and you don't feel like you have to, but you can hit the super thanks. It is the heart icon below the video, and that allows you to tip me. It's the same as a super chat, but you can do it after a live stream is done or after a premiere is done. If you want a super chat, you can do that during a premiere. Again, all donations are not expected. They're not, obviously, needed, so to speak, but they do help the channel, and it's like the chef's kiss. So, so that's gonna be it for me. I hope you guys did enjoy this. Again, I had a lot of fun doing this. It was a lot of work. I'm not going to lie to you. It took me a while, and I actually had to delay it because I found out that all of my audio was recorded through my desktop the last time. So you would have heard it. I would have sounded like I was talking out of a tin can, which, as you know, with my quality and just, everything I put into what I do, I want it to be top-notch. I don't want to put out half-ass content, and so for that reason, I just decided to scrap it and record again. Trust me, I tried to salvage the, recording, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't going to happen. So, really appreciate you guys for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Jake Ellenbogen. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys soon. Later.